Okay, and we're back for another episode of Right Hand Drive Guys. I'm Bobby. We got Aaron.
Hello.
Yeah, what's up, Aaron?
Hey.
Yeah, so today we were going to talk about why right-hand drive. If you're not into Japanese sports cars, you're definitely like, why right-hand drive? Isn't that for like male vehicles? Like, what? I don't get it,
Right.
But so we're going to try to lay that out for you and also kind of give you some background on, for us, why right-hand drive and maybe why not a different car. So, all right, dude, why don't you kick it off? What's the deal? Why right-hand drive?
So why right-hand drive? Well, Japanese cars.
JDM, fool.
JDM fools.
Yeah.
They're right-hand drive, so that's just what I think's cool. Ever since I was a kid, growing up, playing Gran Turismo on PlayStation 2. No, that was the PlayStation 1. Yeah.
Wow,
It's Gran Turismo
disc,
2, dude. Yeah. Playing that and seeing like the Skylines and Sylvias and all these cars that we didn't have over here, I thought it was like pretty cool. So it was, I don't know why it was attractive, but like it was just super interesting to me, and like reading the descriptions about the cars and like what kind of engine they had and whether it's all-wheel drive or wheel drive, like
right, like compared to like
stuff.
the Alfa Romeos or like the other cars that were available in those games. It was always the Japanese cars, of course, but then the in-car like view is you're on the right side.
Right.
They actually had it like legit.
Yeah,
like,
that was a legit game for back in the day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Just like the games.
Right. And even on that game, they had like, different European cars that were right-hand drive as well. But I don't know, for some reason, they just didn't, I don't know, they just didn't really catch my attention. It was always like the Skylines, like the R34s and the S13 Sylvias and S15s that always caught my eye, and those are always my favorites to play on the game because they were always the cool cars. So
right, yeah. So it was like it's not necessarily right-hand drive. Like right-hand drive is secondary to the Japanese cars.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what else? What else got like? What else was like inspiring for you to feel like maybe not sure fully right-hand drive cars, but again, that's like the byproduct of the Japanese sports car.
Right. So also, I mean, that was around the same time that the first Fast and the Furious came out. So like seeing that movie, and I think one of the cars in it, the Skyline, the yellow Skyline, the R33, seeing that in the movie, like a real car, not just a video game car, that was like, oh wow, like I don't know, it's just something you didn't see anywhere else. So that just kind of opened my eyes. And then Google searching back in the day, like the different companies and the stickers and stuff and the different brands that were on the cars in that movie was always a fun thing to do. And like finding like the Veilside like website back in the day that was all Japanese, and like going through the different body kits and stuff
just
like
clicking,
that. Yeah, just clicking random
it,
stuff, dude. Clicking every menu and going down every single thing, and like
before Google Translate and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what I was clicking on, but like, I don't know. It was pretty cool to see just that different style of car and like just uniqueness of it.
Yeah, and like that, right? Like, it's obviously a whole different culture. So you're like being introduced to it even from their view back then by seeing, and like the sites were junk, and they were like low quality, and all that, but it was still just, I remember doing the same thing, just like, damn, like this is so cool. Like,
yeah.
You can order this there, like, damn, yeah. No, that's for sure. The Fast and the Furious, right, with the yellow R33 Leon's R33, with the pizza boy scene.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for me,
Roads closed,
yeah,
pizza boy.
Yeah, that's iconic for sure. I mean, so, but at what point, when did you get into the drifting part of it? Like that part of the right hand drive culture, so to speak, when it comes to the Japanese?
That was a little bit after that. I had like a neighbor that was into cars, and he actually had a 240 SX, and seeing him, put different wheels on it and lower it and stuff like that, like way back in, I think this might have been like 2002, 2001, 2002, like seeing him do that to that car. And like, whenever I would talk to him, he would talk about drifting and stuff and how it's this thing in Japan that, they don't do it in America, but you can find videos of it on, the various downloading websites or programs. It was back in the day. I don't remember which one it was. Don't remember, like Kazaa maybe or something like that.
There was a bunch.
Yeah, you could like find the videos on there. So that's kind of where that came in. And then, finding those videos and a few viruses on my computer and a few other things like that. But
yeah, for sure.
But it was totally cool. I was like, kind of hooked into it, since then. I've just always been interested in it. Just the style of the things, and I don't know. It's just nothing else like it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And again, it's like, it's the JDM Japanese, car culture that's really the draw in the way that they do things. If their cars were left-hand drive, it would be the same thing. Right. It's just, again, that's like the byproduct. But yeah, for me, it was, some of the same things, of course, like just like, of course, Fast and the Furious, but also at one point early on, I got turned on to like the option DVDs and stuff. And so I would order those. The first one the first multiples I ordered, like the actual DVD, were by mail, like mail order, like, way back in the day. Like, and so it was just like going from that to, of course, what everything is today is like wild that like, I mail ordered my first, like, in like, it was like when, like, I mean, it was a long time ago, but so, and then of course after that, kind of with what you said, like downloading torrents or, LimeWire or whatever it may be at 56K, right. Dial up.
Way before YouTube.
And like, dude, yes, dial up, just waiting days to get the option video. And like, it's all in Japanese, and like they're saying everything, and the Drift King's on there judging shit, and you're just like, I'm just sitting there like, oh wow, dude, this is like sick. Like, look at these tracks that they get to test these things on. Look at, and that really got me like a little bit like a better understanding watching those of like what their culture when it came to cars was really all about, and how passionate they are for like the motorsport and like the car period. Right. So that transferred to me, I guess.
Yeah.
But and then of course like the grip videos and all of this stuff that they did, and after that it was like a wrap. I was like, that's all I wanted for sure. And then getting the magazines and like flipping through them and like all the body kits and all the shit you could do for like these import cars that, I mean, you could like do it for some domestic cars, but it always looked like cheesy. But like with
who wants to do that to a Cavalier?
You're funny. Yeah, I had my first car was a '97 Cavalier, and I put a body kit on it. And
no shame.
No, I mean, this was in like '02. It was only 5 years old, like late '02. So, I mean, whatever. I had black wheels, 17s on it. I had a carbon fiber hood, body kit. I was doing it, like, but I mean, so yeah, for me, it was that stuff. And we also had like a local guy named Adam who was really into cars and like was one of the first dudes. He had a EF. Well, I don't know if it's a EF. It was the 4-door 91 Civic, like dumped, like with a carbon fiber hood, like sick wheels, like redone interior. Like it was legit for like, it was like 2000, like 99 maybe, you know, like, and he also really like sparked just that modification of new cars, because before that I was really just exposed to like, you know, muscle and like these older cars, you know. So he kind of sparked for me that like, oh wow, like we can modify these newer, you know. I mean, that thing was probably 10 years old at that point, or 9 years old, but still feeling like that's a new car. Like, damn, you can make these cool. Like, so yeah, I mean, I think, you know, all those things combined really just sparked it for me. And it's one of those like original things that you fall in love with at like an earlier age maybe, and like sticks with you forever, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's cool. So kind of similar but different influences in the way that each of us got into it. So what about, so like, why not, like, why not be a Mustang guy like your dad? Like, why not, like, why, like, with all of that influence around, like we said, you know, whether it was that or what, you know. Okay, so first let's just go through it. Why not like a Mustang?
I don't know. It was one of those things. My dad always had those. When I was a kid, he had like a Saline Fox body, and, you know, multiple other Fox bodies, Mustangs that were, you know, a little bit modified. But I mean, I was into them, but once it came to get my own car, I don't know. I mean, those were a little bit out of my price range, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
You know, when it first came to get my first car, because Japanese cars are obviously a little bit cheaper.
Used to be.
Yeah. Used to be. Yeah. Used to be a 240 was, you know, definitely under $3,000, and you would have a nice car. Whereas like Mustangs and stuff back then, you know, were
more expensive.
Right around $10K or so. So
now,
I mean, that was
240s are probably more expensive than some definitely some Mustangs, but yeah, no, it is wild how things have kind of changed on that.
Right. So I mean, I think that was kind of one of the things, but I also liked the styling of the Japanese cars and the way they felt, and, you know, the 4 cylinders and how they revved and how they drove. And yeah, I don't know what it was, but I was just into it and just into the styling.
Yeah, like for me, I was like super anti-domestic. Anything from the USA, like once I fell in love with the Japanese cars, like I was like anti-domestic, like bad, you know, just like wouldn't give them any respect, which now not the case, you know. Like I respect like well built and well put together cars, period. But like then, like as a younger person, I was like, no, Mustang, trash. That is trash. Oh, it's a convertible. Trash. Like, you know, just like I was bad about that.
Okay, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. So but okay, so what about the Euros? Like why not, you know, there's right-hand drive European cars, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, all through Europe they have right-hand drive cars, but I don't know. I mean, I just never was into the Euros thing. I don't know what it was. I just wasn't into it. They sounded funny, like, because they always had like you know, inline 6 or something, NA, and
they don't have lug nuts, they have lug bolts.
Yeah, I'm just like, weird stuff like that.
I'm stripping that quick.
Although I did own a Mercedes wagon for a little bit. That was pretty cool.
That thing was cool looking.
Yeah, I mean, but I never like got into it. I wasn't going to like the meets and stuff like that. And I just thought it was cool looking. But
what's it called? Vag Fair or something?
Yeah,
like,
there's a bunch of them, dude. I'm like, that's a whole other thing. I can't even
do your thing. Whatever.
That's a whole different animal. And it's just like, I don't know, just not my thing per se. So
yeah, I feel you.
I don't know why I never got into it. It just wasn't as attractive or mysterious, I guess, as the JDM stuff. Because like most of that European stuff we got over here.
True.
But like
there was probably maybe a few.
Other than brands, like they have complete brands that we never got over here. Yeah, and I was just like, what even is that? Like
No, same with like Alfa Romeo. They had the cars on the game.
Right.
But like you never saw them over here really, but whatever. Right. Lotus for a while was like that too. Right. It was on the game with that like twin turbo. What is it? It's I don't remember which one that is, but then you would never see it.
Right.
So I never became a fan of that because it was zero influence.
Yeah. Whereas like Nissan, like you knew what a Nissan was, you knew what Zs were, like 300ZXs and things like that. You knew what that was. So to see something that was similar but like different in a better way, like the Skylines or the Silvias, you're like, oh wow, that's sick. Like
and
it's just something about it just attracts you to it. I don't know why.
Yeah, and then for me kind of the same thing. Like I guess I was turned off from Volkswagens and like Audis and stuff because of like Volkswagens and the Jettas, and I thought that like the GTIs or the R32s were cool, but like not nearly as cool as a Japanese like like a Silvia or
don't get me wrong, there are some cool Euros out there.
Supra. Yeah, no, they are, and they do a good job like styling them and all of that stuff, like for sure. Like that's where I feel like the like super camber stuff belongs, is on those type of cars.
Right.
Personally me, like that's like
the bags and all that.
Yeah, the bags and so same here for me with the Euros. So let's see. Besides that, that's like a lot of the other cars you would choose. Like domestic, same kind of thing, for me, same as like the Mustang, right? I was like anti anything that was coming from America because I was like total JDM train at that point. Right. Just, like I would never even consider these. Plus, my first car, right? Like we talked about my 97 Cavalier. So the way that I like chose so I went to the back of the magazine to all of the body kit bumpers and stuff, right? And so I'm like, okay, my mom's like, get a list of cars, you have this much that you've saved up, get a list of cars, and I'll ask, these people that I know with dealerships, like if they have any of these, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I go to the back of the magazine, I look at all, I'm like, okay, Ford Probe, Chevy Cavalier. Yeah, I like start writing these down, but then it's like, Honda Civic, like Toyota Supra, like, like these did whatever they had pretty much, unless it was like, it's not like there was Hyundai Tiburons yet or anything like that, really. Like that. So it was just like, RX-7, like any of those that they had in the back of the magazine at that time, in 2002 or whatever. And so, like, of course, she doesn't pick the Honda Civic or, anything like that. She has me go pick up the Chevy Cavalier. But like, dude, like 80,000 miles. A 97 in 2002, 5 years old.
Yeah.
$2,200.
Crazy.
Dude, insane.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like looking back at that, I'm like, sure, maybe you hooked us up, but even at $3,000, like.
They made cars so cheap back then.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's insane.
Like, a 5-year-old car with 80,000 miles you're getting for $2,200. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just wild because of the way that obviously things have gone. But so where do you see the future of right-hand drives? Like when we say the future of right-hand drives, like the market, the future cars coming in, you know, any of that stuff. What do you think?
That's it's going to be interesting. You know, obviously we got like the R34s that are becoming legal and the S15 Silvias. Those are like the big ones, right? And then, you know, all the Chasers and Supras and pretty much everything, all the cool stuff that I feel like all the cool stuff is going to be becoming legal within the next few years.
It's like it's like the prime time is coming up for sure. DC5 Integras.
Right, yeah, that too.
You know, any of those, like the Evo 7s are going to be coming up. Like, yeah, like the next, like, let's just say the S2000s are coming up. So all of these vehicles, yeah, sure, we had S2000s here, but we didn't even have enough of them, so to speak, right? Like, S2000s are expensive.
Right.
Like, they're not cheap. So the more of those, the better. But those are still not even super plentiful in Japan.
Right.
It's not like you're seeing those everywhere.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like, I agree.
Like what's next after that? Like what's, you know, everything else we kind of already got in the States, like 350Zs and
which those high production
GT,
numbers.
Yeah. The R35s, we already have that. Like,
yeah, no, we got enough clapped out R35s
everywhere.
Those aren't. I mean, same with like the Evos and the STIs. You know, once you get to the Evo 8 and you know, once you get to the 04 for the STI, you have it. Which, don't get me wrong, like, I'm about it. If you can get them at a deal and bring them over, then it still makes sense because those are dope cars.
And I'm sure there's like, you know, certain models and like additions and stuff like that, you know, I might not necessarily be versed completely on, but as far as like Nissans and stuff, like, I don't really feel like there's anything. Like, same with Hondas. I mean, maybe the EP3 Type R.
Yeah, they're with the rally shifter. No, dude, that's no.
But until then, like, what?
No,
like maybe like the next generation. What is it? The 8th generation Civic Si or Type? Did they have a Type R?
Type R, yeah. So
maybe that one, but like even so, like I guess we didn't have that over here, but it's not like that's anything special. It's still the K20, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I feel like probably after the year 09, there's not shit besides like the FK whatever FK.
Right, but that's still a while out. That's like 2035.
Right. No, so that's what I'm saying. 10, the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
That's all. That's it.
That's it.
Like, and then once they're over here, right, and once we've like ate them all up out of Japan, that's it. Like, once,
what is it?
You know, once they take them to Dubai and wreck them, like once they buy them up, take them to Dubai,
right?
Whatever, you know, use them at a smash room in Dubai, whatever they do with these things, you know, like. But it's like, yeah, it's gonna be hard after that because you're working with, like, we're working over here with what we got,
right? Dude, imagine the first year R35 GTR becomes the 25-year legal and they're still making the same.
Oh my gosh, that would be insane. That would be crazy. That's in 09 though, right? Yeah, so like, but imagine that is like they're almost
2035 GTR.
They are almost on 20 years of the same body style, dude. I mean, they're 6 years away. But still, 14 years, dude. Get a grip, dude. Come on, like,
they made the R34 for how many years? Like 3?
3, yeah.
Same with the 33.
Yeah.
And
I know, dude. The most sick cars, dude.
Like,
they made for
why
no
did
time.
they? Yeah, it sucks. They were just so quick to like be on to the next thing? Is it because like the technology was like moving so fast, or like
maybe, or just like
what was it?
Their involvement in the racing,
right? But like they're still pretty involved in the racing.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Then it was probably different. Like
they probably got a different budget now.
14 years, like the same like dudes, like just wow.
Right.
That is just so
This is what you're going to do that with?
Yeah, I mean, so okay, so we're at that point we're in the year 2035 or so, like you said. So I mean, the future looks good right now for the near future, but long term this is just like anything else. You know, just like the muscle cars, just like the old Ferraris, just like any of that stuff, like the time will
like
pass.
An unobtainable classic thing that you see
rarely because of how many are lost to whatever accidents, theft, you know, all these different things. So right at that certain point. So what does that do, in your opinion, what does that do to the market? Like, so where does the market go in 12 years, in 15 years?
I have no clue. I mean, hopefully, I don't know. I mean, I'm not one to buy cars to sell them. Like, whenever I get them to keep. So, not necessarily looking at the market past that. You know what I mean? Like, if it goes up, it's only going to hurt me because I can't get another one type of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, like, I would like them to stay low. Like, but that's only because I want to get another.
Right. 2 or 3.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And so I agree with you in the sense of, yeah, like, of course, we would like them to stay cheap because we all want more. But how many people are like you that are sitting on them and never have the plan to sell them until whatever, they pass away and their family sells it off? They have to. So what, like, you know, how does that affect the market in the sense of, okay, so now these people are sitting on them. So these ones are coming over and they're getting bought and you like never see them again, really. You do, but
because they go to the enthusiast or whatever it might be. The people that actually wanted them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, these cars are like off the market. And so then the ones that are on the market, there's less of them, right?
Right. And the ones that are probably being sold by someone.
Right. Exactly.
That doesn't want to sell it.
Yeah, you're right. Someone that doesn't want to sell it. Yeah. Once they're all over here, especially. Because then at that point, the importers, that sucks.
Yeah, what's going to happen to those guys? They're really exporting now.
Yes.
Like,
right.
What are they going to do? Like,
because and the people on this side selling them, those little dealerships, you know, whatever, the right-hand drive specialties, like, are they going to be scraping over there? Like, but the supply's gone. Like, it's been eaten up. Like,
I mean, I'm sure there's got to be something. Like, there's got to be something they can still export, whether it be like some of the K cars or like,
right.
You know, who knows, like, what's about to become legal that we don't even know about.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, so that's like,
but still, that's still like such an obscure market. Like,
yeah, no, that's gonna hurt them bad. But so that's the thing, is I believe that the market will like kind of take a dip because the whole economy is, but then, you know, give it these 10 years, 12, 15 years, and like, there's no more. There's no hope of any more. There's no...
Right, just like classic American cars, the price has gone up.
Insane, yeah, like insane. And like, so I believe, right, at that point, of course, certain models of car especially will be like insane. Like, there will be $1 million R34s. I believe that.
Oh, all day.
Like, because right now there's already $400,000 GTRs.
Yeah, it's insane.
So...
insane.
Like, yeah, I believe that the market will take a dip and then jump back up in the long term, you know, so which I believe will be good, you know, because while these cars are coming in, they become more plentiful and the price goes down, we can scoop some up.
Yeah.
And then once they've all been scooped by people like us, boom, that's when the price goes up. And maybe you were able to get one as an investment just to sit on and enjoy and drive that you plan to sell, who knows? Like
right.
that would be the
that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be ideal, right? Because everybody loves to be able to use something and then get their money back.
Right.
That's pretty standard. When you invest in something, you hope and want to get your money back. But when it's these cars, I feel like if you can hold out for the long term, you'll get definitely your money back.
Right.
Like, even if you put a little into it just for fun.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, future will always have the right-hand drive for me as long as I can help it. Even if I don't, for some reason, own one, I'll be, still an enthusiast of them.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
Me too.
But yeah, I'll always have one. I mean, shit. What the fuck else? Like, yeah,
Right.
It'd be like life would be
them.
boring. Yeah, I already got it.
Yeah, like I said before, I mean, I got it so I could enjoy it. Like, I didn't get it as an investment or didn't get it because it was a good deal, because it really wasn't. Especially, at the peak of COVID, like, it's not really, that wasn't the best time for the market. Like,
right. Oh, yeah.
Much doubled in price at that time
crazy.
for something like that. So,
yeah,
I
especially
mean,
those.
I got it because I enjoy it, because it's what I'm into.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's cool. It's a perk having like something more unique than like the average car that you would buy here, like that. And then the experience of driving, on the right side like that on our roads especially is interesting, because you're like hugging the like white line kind of, so that's definitely a different experience. I look forward to driving in Japan and
that's gonna be nice.
Really like doing it the right way. That'll be a good time. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to the future, even if like the height of it is in the next 10 years for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I think that concludes this week's episode of Right Hand Drive, guys. We appreciate you listening for sure.